You're on.
Welcome to the operations meeting of March 30th. May, excuse me, May.
My birthday again. My birthday's in 1 month, 1 year.
Has everybody read the minutes? We need to make sure that we have a quorum. Joanne, while you're reading the minutes, flip it up. Not free time.
Okay. John Gregg's not here. Ruth Dries? Here. Joyce Reese?
Yes.
Richard Handelsman?
Here.
John Hess?
Yeah.
Olga Wilkenstein?
Yes.
Bobby Levin? David Fournette, announce it?
He's on the phone. He's on the phone.
He's
Okay.
on the phone.
Oh, we never phone recorded.
Okay, great.
I never phone recorded.
And David Israel is absent, Ed Grossman's absent, Dominic Granaccio?
Here.
Stuart is absent, Fausto, you're
Here.
here. Patricia's absent, David Boaz
Here.
is here, and I'm here, so we've got,
Did you call,
Committee.
you only have 7 board members here. You need 11 for a quorum.
we have just 11.
No, the quorum is of the committee. Oh, it includes the officers?
No, no. How many are on the committee?
20.
No, they're not, that's,
No,
No, that's-
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's the executive
we've
board.
actually got all the members.
I'm back in March. Forgive me.
We've got all the members here,
All right,
except for John Gregg. who's the only
Okay.
one missing.
I apologize.
So we have a quorum.
So we have a quorum, we can establish it. Do I have any corrections to the minutes as presented? Can we have a motion to accept the minutes?
accept.
We have a second by John Hess. Good. Miss Monica, you're always first.
Thank you, Fausto. Good afternoon, everybody. Today you're looking at your statement of operations for the 5 months ended March 31st, 2023. For the month, we had $868,000 of revenue. That included $316,000 of reserve revenues to cover air conditioning costs that were spent during that month. Our total expenses were $896,000. So for the month, we have a loss of $27,790. For the 5-month period, our total revenues are $3.6 million, of which $1.2 million is reserve revenues to cover the HVAC project. We had budgeted $2.4 million for that period, so the variance over budget is $1,257,000, which is substantially the reserve revenue. Because if you recall, when we did the budget last summer, at that time we thought that the air conditioner project was going to be completed by the end of the past fiscal year. Well, here we are at the end of March, and here we sit at the end of May, and we still haven't paid the final bills because we still have more parts, I believe, that have not been delivered. But we're almost there at the end. So that's the reason for the big variance for the 5 months. For the 5 months, when it comes to your expenses, we spent $3,789,000. Largest share of that was, of course, maintenance and repair at $1.5 million, which is substantially the HVAC project. We have a year-to-date loss of $149,000. We had budgeted for that period a loss of $354,000. So we have a positive variance of $205,000 for the 5 months. At the bottom is your social activity summary. March being the last month of the season, our theater revenues were $67,000 for the month. And for your theater, dances, and movies, we paid $88,000, so we have a loss of $21,000 for the month of March. For the 5 months, our theater and dance revenue was $222,000. The expenses were $269,000, so we have a loss of $46,000. For that period, we had actually budgeted a loss of $103,000. So we have a positive variance for the 5 months of $57,000. Any questions about this report? Okay, the next report is your cash balances. As of March 31st, our total operating funds were $836,000. Our windstorm deductible reserves were $491,000. Our contingency and infrastructure reserve down to $143,000, bringing our total reserve funds on hand $635,000. Our total available cash $1,471,000. Questions? Okay, let's flip to your next report, which is, this is for the month of April. This is your social activities report. For your theater performances, we had 1,274 tickets sold for theater, which brought in $6,536 in income. Once we reduce that income for your audience view cost and your sales tax, our net sales are $5,300. We pay the performers $5,300. So we actually have a profit of $25 per month. For your Friday night dances, 477 people attending your Friday night dances. We paid $1,515 for the dances. And for your movies, during the month of April, 1,095 people attended the movies, for which we paid $1,605. So our total loss for your theater, movies, and dances for the the first month of off-season, to be in April, $3,095. Next report is the Estoppel results, and this is also through the end of April. For the second month in a row, we had 75 units that were sold in this community. In Estoppel revenue, we collected $15,940. When you look at the same period for the previous year, year-to-date through April of this year, there were 351 units sold, and the previous year, 419 units, so it's a decrease of 68 units, or 16% drop in the number of units sold, and an 18% decline in the total revenue collected from Estoppel. Ready for the next report? Last report is for your revenue collected from guests. This is also through the end of April. Resident box office sales for the 6 months, $128,754. Guest sales for your box office, $56,860. Which represents 31% of your total year-to-date sales at your box office. The number of tickets sold through April, 11,848 from residents, 3,984 tickets sold to guests. Total tickets sold, $15,832. Included in the theater ticket sales, representing the guest fees only, was $11,952. In our ID office, we sold guest passes through the end of April of $26,890. Guest passes sold in the staff office, $7,479. So the revenue generated year-to-date by outsiders or guests, $46,321.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
How do we go from 31 to 25% on guest sales? Why is there a 6% difference? Those numbers should be the same. guest box sales office says 31%, and then on the other side, you only have 25%.
Because this part, this side over here is dollars only. This is ticket
Tickets,
number
ticket.
sales.
Okay.
Right,
But-
so they don't necessarily correlate one to the other because the ticket price, the portion of the ticket price that's for guests is only $3
Right.
versus this is the total ticket price. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but the number should be closer to 30, because that's where we're at, about 30%.
Well, these
Yeah.
are actual numbers.
No, I understand.
Yeah. Any
Any
other questions? Okay. The last thing on the agenda for me is something positive for once. That's related to insurance. July 1 is our open enrollment for our employees for health benefits for all of our employees that work in the 3 Century Villages and the corporate office. And our medical insurance and benefits have been with Humana for the last 3 years, and Humana is going out of the group medical health insurance business and only focusing going forward after the next year or so only on their Medicare business. So we've been forced to go out to market to, Florida Blue, Cigna, NAVNet, all these other carriers out there, United Healthcare, and I'm pleased to share with you that we are moving our benefits from Humana to Florida Blue, and it's going to be a savings company-wide between the 3 Century Villages of $71,000 in premium for our medical care. So there's a lot of changes going on in the medical field right now. Humana is still going to provide dental and vision coverage, but group plans for medical, they're totally dropping within the next year. They're phasing out all of their plans. So for once, something related to insurance went down. I guess it was good for us because Humana is going out of that business, so all the other carriers were trying to take that business for them, so they were being very competitive with their pricing this year. And that's it for me. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Monica. Yeah, and you're up.
Hey, good afternoon. First on the topic, HVAC. We've come to the final with our engineer. We have one unit that they're still trying to get everything on paper to make sure that it corresponds to the engineering. But I feel that this week will be, but we're not going to be 100% until we get that outside hood, which is from Carrier, that's been out there for almost 10 months now to receive, and it's supposed to be coming in August. So we'll see, hopefully we can get it before then, but we can't finalize until every piece is in, okay? But the majority of the running of all the engineering portion of it is done other than that one unit, okay? And then it's very minor of what they got left to do on that one unit.
Does that affect the pool room? Because I had somebody come in today and complain that the pool room is too loud in the building.
That's the one that has a problem, or?
Okay, yeah, that was something that would, I think, that's right, because we had, there was 3 or 4 heaters, okay, that were having a problem that they had to change out, okay? So I think that was definitely one of the ones that were of the 4, but that should have been corrected, okay? But it was something about the changing out of those. They were still under warranties and they had to take them out. Any questions on HVAC? Okay.
Catwalk.
The catwalk, that is 100%. We had a little problems up there which they've taken care of over the week. They're going to be sealing. We just let the concrete cure so that they could go ahead and seal it and paint it, okay? So hopefully sometime, maybe the next following week, depending on the cure of the cement and when the contractor tells us it's okay, because we don't want to paint it until we're 100%, okay? There was some leakage from the top that they took care of last week, and we just want to make sure that it's not coming through. Okay? Other than that, it's gone pretty good. We're opened it up for traffic now, so that's why the area is up there open due to the fact that they can exit through there. The lagoon, we discussed that last month. We have a maintenance we put maintenance on this now so that we could kill everything along the outside and keep it under control, okay? So that's a big thing in making sure that it doesn't get to where it was. And since it was a lot of money spent, we don't want to go through that again, okay? They told me to bring this up on the gym move. We're still working with one vendor to try to get a price on through there, and this is to move the gym from where it's at to the aerobics area because of the size, to try to get to spread the equipment around so that people could walk safely around it. And then, of course, move the aerobics room to the gym area, okay? They're just, I think we're just waiting on an electrical bid, and we should have something together to bring to you for budget, you know, for next year, okay? Any questions on that? Locker room renovations, we just put the revision in. I couldn't start this until we had the revision on the sauna that we went with in the ladies' room. We just put that in today, finally getting the engineer to get the specs for it so that we can put in the revision to the permit that's in there right now. But I just told Eva that she could pick a date this month, okay, and we could start the men's room area, okay? Just to let you know what we're going to do for the time being to get the men's room sauna up and running. We're going to take the parts and stuff that are on the ladies that are good, okay, to be able to correct any problems that we have with the wood on there that are good. We'll replace it, and we can open it up for the time being until we put into the budget next year of the change that we're going to do, but we at least could get the sauna up and running after the renovation, okay? I feel that we have enough good wood to be able to replace the wood that's up on top that was heating up very. I know a lot of people didn't understand that, but because of it being charred the way it was with all the smoke and stuff, that basically when it was put on, it was getting so hot that the outside door could have caught on fire. You know, that's how hot, you couldn't even put your hands on it. But we should be able to correct that, okay, and get that opened up when the renovation is complete.
I think for the moment that's it for you. And Abby, I apologize. You were on the agenda and then
You got removed, I saw that. Just like I said March because it said March on the paper. But Dan, I have a question for you.
Yes.
What's going on with the North Canal? We need an update.
Okay.
Don't want to put you on the spot, but we need to know.
It's not really me on the spot. I have to, now that you brought it up again, I thought that this last time we had talked was to get your attorney to talk to our attorney, okay? And that's the last that I remember. She's willing to give you all the information that you would need, okay, to move forward in a direction that I feel could be positive to your side, depending on how your attorney, you know, when talking to ours. Okay, we came up with some documentations, okay, that you need to see, because it's in your agreement, if I'm not mistaken, right, Monica? It's on their water lease agreement that they have originally, and it's basically yours, so that's why we can't, we've done as much work that we could get to give to you to show your attorney to move forward in that direction.
did we already hand over all that information?
No, they were supposed to, unless last we had talked, they were supposed to bring this information, or I think they were supposed to call Laura Coffey, okay? Your attorney was supposed to call Laura Coffey, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, Dan, the reason Fausto's asking this question is right now our attorney, Ron Tennyson, is negotiating with the developer of Reflection Bay for maintenance of the South Canal. And there's a quiet title action pending on that one too. So I'll put Rod in touch with Laura and let them do their thing.
Yeah, because I think the information that she has is going to be beneficial to you. Okay.
I mean, I think we've done all that we can do to try to help you out with meeting with Palm Beach County Water Utilities multiple times and basically trying to get them to what we think is accurate, that they own that North Canal. They're not willing to admit that, so it's going to be a legal thing. Yeah.
We spent many hours looking at paperwork, so let you know, it saved a lot of work and money. So whatever she hands to you, it'd be good because we did a lot of the legwork for the attorney, you know, so. Okay.
Abby, since we left you off the agenda,
Okay.
Yes.
We are in the midst of putting together the season brochures, and they will be out on August 1st. And they can pick up the brochures on August 1st, and online tickets begin in September. So anything prior to that, they can drop off their brochures at the clubhouse. We have made arrangements to put a brochure, the instructions, the order form in the UCO paper. We are giving you 3,500, am I correct? You want 4,500?
I don't know, check it out. I heard 45.
I heard 3,500. Well, how many papers do you print?
4,500.
So then we're going to give you 4,500.
Okay.
Okay. And then we are not going to give UCO this year, since it's going in the paper, and we will print 4,500. I may print an extra 500 just because for the summer brochure, believe it or not, we had to print another 5,000. They were taking them like water, so I don't know what happened there. Our printer obviously would have to charge to ship, so I am taking one of my staff members, taking my car, and I am driving it personally to your printer. So that will be there. One of the things that we didn't discuss, Fausto came up with the idea, which was a great idea, to increase, not substantially, ticket prices for the season next year. Anything over $5,000 went to $13. This came up in Boca, so I'm just bringing it to your attention. You have not increased your summer ticket prices in forever. So they have gone from $7 to $8. You have remained at $5 for probably 20 years. Is that something that you would consider? Because now is the time, believe it or not, we're also working on the summer of '24. If in fact you would like to increase your tickets, now is the time to please tell me. Would that be something you would consider?
I would consider it if you did the buy 4 and pay for 3.
We are, always, there's always.
Do away with that. You can't do it both ways.
So for the summer you want to do away? You want to
That's my
consider-
personal feeling.
Consider getting rid of the BOGO.
Yeah.
Joyce?
I agree with that, but I'm also concerned about raising the tickets, considering how few people go now. We got like 200 people.
My question would be, would you consider raising it by $1, which is not that substantial, and stopping the BOGOs? And then it's not that big of a financial burden to anybody.
That sounds good.
You know, I've often thought of bringing this to the committee, like maybe we should do every other week. But you know, we've already moved the dances to the Friday nights. People are still stuck on Saturday night as their night out. You know, it's I guess from habit. You know, you go out on a Saturday night. So even though obviously we made $25 this month, nothing to speak of, but we didn't lose anything. And probably as the summer goes along, we will lose, but we never lose substantial dollars in the summer because we only spend about $5,000 to $7,000 a month. So just the fact of having something to do is nice, even if, you know, they still can say they're going out. So do we take a vote to raise it to $6 and get rid of the BOGO?
How does the committee feel?
Make a motion.
Make a motion.
I'll make a motion that we raise the price of tickets by $1 from $5 to $6, and that, should we do both in one vote?
Yeah.
Yes.
And that we eliminate the BOGO.
Who seconds the motion?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Joyce. Anybody have any discussion on it? Anything to talk about? You want to do a roll call vote? Joanne, when you're ready, you let me know. When you got the motion down, we'll read it so everybody understands what we're doing.
Okay, I think I got it. Richard Handelsman made a motion, seconded by Joyce Reese, to raise the theater tickets for the summer season from $5 to $6 and eliminate the BOGO.
That the motion you made? You happy with that?
You good with
Is
that?
that permanent now, 23?
For 2024, this is 2020, next year.
2024 only,
Okay, 2024 only.
okay.
Huh?
Ruth Dries?
Yes.
Joyce Reese? Richard Handelsman?
Yes.
Olga Wolkenstein?
Yes.
Bobby Levin?
Yes.
Is David Fornes still on the, whose phone was
He
he
was
on?
David's,
David Fornes?
Yes, David Furness.
Did he?
Yes.
yeah, he's a yes.
He's a yes. Dominic Granaccio?
Yes.
Fausto?
Yes.
And David Boaz?
Yes.
And I vote yes. And it carries unanimously.
I said yes.
John is on
Did I
there.
not call you? I'm sorry. I do that every
It's all right.
You gotta wear a red shirt so she knows where you are.
Okay, got you, everybody.
Anything else, Abby? That's it?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Eva, I guess you're up.
I guess I am up. Okay, so we have, I see Omar from the bus company. He works in my hallways. And I know that he's made a request to have an office of some kind. In order for me to bring this to Laura, I need the committee to make a decision as to whether you want to see that happen or not. So, I'm sorry?
It's not Omar, that's the.
No, that's Omar.
Man, that's not Omar.
Omar is the gentleman that has been, he told us he was coming.
You're at a table at the door.
Well, it was Omar in the seats in the hallway going through season. If that's changed, I know that they're looking for an office space, so I'm not looking to give them a room,
Right.
but I do have a storage area where I could put a small desk. He'd have power and a seat, and it would take him out of the hallways, and I don't know if you would want that or not. I have an office over at Hastings, but he needs to be at the main clubhouse where the buses are, so.
My understanding that he was looking for a place for the bus drivers to eat lunch and kind of like give orders to whatever is going on to the on-site manager. It's a little, what you're describing and what he told us, two different things.
Well, they certainly can, and I said that at the time, that they were welcome to either go into the party room if there was nothing going on, or over to our craft room where we have a sink and a microwave, and they could sit in there privately. Because I told Melissa not to schedule anything during the lunch hour, so it would be available to both security and the bus drivers. Whether they're availing themselves of that, I do not know, but I did say that they were more than welcome to avail themselves of that room.
If you have the space and it works, does
Yeah.
anybody have any objection to working with the bus company?
Where did you say it's gonna be at? Hastings?
No.
No, I said I have an actual office at Hastings, an empty one, but they need to be there where the buses are and where the problems are occurring. So I have it was Asia's and Kevin's old office upstairs, which is, they were in a storage area. It's not a room fit for classroom or, resident use. So I could give him a little desk in there amongst all the things we have in there, but it would work.
Do we need a
And again, I do need to get this approved by legal if you decide that this is the direction you want to go, and then I would get back to you at the next meeting.
Does anybody have a problem with them being offered this storage area? Oh, okay, see if it works for them and then go through legal and see if it works.
Okay?
Can I ask a question about that?
Sure.
Would you not want to consider charging them rent if they're gonna be occupying space in your clubhouse?
Well, when I heard storage room, that could be a broom closet. If they wanted an actual space with windows and it would be different. you know, if it required, that's what I'm saying. What he told us, that he wanted a space where they could meet with the bus drivers, to me, that's a little more than a storage area. So if he's content with a storage broom closet to do what he needs to do, I don't think we have a problem. If he needs more than that, then there's another.
Okay.
And I did walk him down there, I did show him the space, and he was okay with it. I will get back to everybody the next meeting. All right, then we have men's sauna. So this is something that was actually asked by Les Ridkin to put on the agenda. Les, did you have anything you wanted to say here to the committee?
I do. I got a whole speech.
Take a mic,
Yeah.
give it a mic.
Get a mic.
Give it a...
Yes, you want to take it?
No, I couldn't hear you.
Oh, sorry.
Good afternoon, friends and neighbors. We live in a unique community.
Hold that mic.
After-core.
Use the mic. Use the mic.
Yeah, Mike, you need to swallow the mic.
It's on. It's on. Yeah, it's on.
Boy, you got good eyes.
Good afternoon, friends and neighbors. We live in a unique community where we look after and for each other. We are all aware of how important exercise on a regular basis is. We are also aware that measures which enhance the health and well-being and extend our lives are super important and of the highest priority. Both of these goals can be achieved by opening the sauna immediately or as soon as possible under emergency conditions. I ask this because since the closing of the sauna, many of the men who regularly attend the gym have significantly decreased their workouts, as sauna was an important part of their workout. Research has shown that regular sauna increases one's lifespan significantly, while reducing the rate of heart-caused deaths and other causes of deaths. I submit that denying sauna is denying health care, and that we should do everything possible toward a speedy reopening of the men's sauna. And I'm very happy to hear the plans to use the wood from the women's sauna as a possibility toward getting the men's sauna open. Thank you for listening. Questions?
Lobby elevator.
I'm gonna take this, I think, I'm pretty sure that this was handed to the bid committee, and I think if we do have the prices here for that, I would like to go over it, because this is a life safety portion of it that I need to get done. Yes. So,
You want that?
I have no
Yeah, the classes. All right. So this is a code and it's required. We have no choice. And so the amount on the budget is $20,000. And we were able, even though we sought 3 bids, we only got 2. Oracle, who we used to have a contract with, no longer do, declined to bid. Didn't say it, they just never responded. So we have a coastal elevator that was $18,126 and Delaware elevator that was $29,106. Budget amount again is $20,000, which means coastal elevator does come in under the budget amount. And so this was provided to the bid committee, and then I would have to then bring Dom into the conversation as to the decision made by the bid committee.
This is for the mandate of not being able to leave the door open?
Yes.
Or to override the switch that leaves the door?
No, you don't walk out.
It's called an Argus door lock monitor device, and it's to bring the elevator system into compliance with ASME 17.3, section 3.10.12.
Yes.
Basu, is that the one we have to do in all our buildings and
Yeah.
elevators? Yeah.
Yes.
That's the mechanism.
I thought that price was, it's gone up since the last time we discussed this a year ago.
What was Coastal's price, Eva?
From Coastal Elevator was 18,126.
That was a huge
Mhm.
difference.
Yeah, I know. There's a huge difference between the two.
There is.
What,
And
$10,000?
most of the buildings that have had the updates already, talking $10,000.
Right,
That's what we paid.
that's what we paid.
Yeah, and that's what I originally had a cost on, but after talking to most of these elevator companies, it has gone up, you know, but when I saw the price of the two track, you know, so we had to get another bid.
I'm sorry, Asia, and?
And the clutch repair.
Oh,
And the clutch repair.
I'm sorry, that does include, sorry,
Okay.
includes a clutch repair.
All right.
On both, fitted it the same way?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's the update and
Clip repair.
clutch repair. Okay.
Basically, it's a no brick.
Well, that's on, I can't understand why. I know that the parts they said were gonna become scarce,
Sure.
and we have until December to do it, right? December 31st, or the elevator goes out of use, yes.
Right.
So,
So that's what we'll bring up to you, if we can get that approval and move forward.
Mr. Chair of the bid committee, what do you say?
There's such a big difference. How can we fail to do?
Do you want to bring it in front of your committee, or would you say yes now and let them go forward with
Say
it?
now, but give it to Coastal. They're so far inexpensive.
Yeah,
And it's the same product.
right.
So apples
And
to
we have a
apples.
deadline of December 31st,
Right.
so
It's a no-brainer.
committee chair said move it forward.
Move it forward, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And then there is a second one, and this would be the guest pool bathroom partitions. They're very old and splitting and just falling apart. So they do need to be replaced. There is a budget amount of $16,300, and we went and got two bids. One was the Chosen Group at $14,760, and then Dos Santos at $15,638. They're very close to one another. Both are under the budget amount. So again, that was provided to the bid committee. And this is something we really need to do in all the bathrooms. And the partitions will not be made of that particle board with the Formica on it. We'll go with the, what are they? It's a plastic.
Plastic.
Yeah, which will
Plastic
last
resin, yeah.
a long time.
Tom?
Yes,
But are you familiar with both companies since they're still closed?
yes.
Is one company better than another?
You know, Dos Santos has done a lot of work for
That's what I
us.
thought, yeah.
Chosen Group is a newer group that we've been with. They just did the catwalk. So,
Right. Either or.
both, both are excellent. You know,
Thank you.
Dominic, what do you think? It's up to
I
you.
think they're so close. You
Doesn't,
go with the lower price.
throw it off.
Who was the lowest price?
the Chosen Group. No, the Chosen Group at $14,760, where Dos Santos was $15,638.
So the Chosen Group is a little cheaper.
A little bit.
Yeah, about
Not
$1,000.
enough.
Save the money
remember-
for something else.
Remember why we went to the Chosen Group for the catwalk, because the Santos was a lot higher,
Mhm.
and we, I think maybe they learned a lesson, they sharpened their pencil up a little bit.
Possibly, yeah.
But not quite enough.
Mhm. So, you know, and that we've gotten bids from them, and they've been the highest or higher. So, you know, it's,
My concern about, go back to the elevator, is how long is the elevator gonna be down or out of use?
I think that they could get it done in one day if they have the parts, you know, so I don't know
I
exactly
don't
the time
know,
frame.
but my point is, the second story, we better make sure that we have some type of a firm date, how long
Yes.
this is gonna take to do.
We will post it for you, and then we'll find out exactly. Okay, I have not myself personally have done one yet, so I can't give you that answer. But I could definitely find out from Delaware since they've done them and you've done them in your
Right,
facilities. I can't imagine it would take more than a few hours to get this thing done.
Well, once we signed the contract, it took them 40 days to get the parts.
That's what I'm saying, I would not.
And then it was done in one day. Now, the clutch situation, I don't know
Well,
what's
I've done the
involved.
clutch before, that's an hour worth of work.
Okay.
It's not a problem.
So,
no.
but
Just I don't know that other part.
it's a one-day job once they have the parts. This is what, I know that Jerry Satowski had it done in his building, I had it done, they did Greenbrier B, same scenario, it was done within one day.
So we'll look at the time frame and then we'll get with it, Eva, to see if we have to cancel anything on the upper floors if anything's going on. And let you
Right,
know.
we would need to let the residents know. I wouldn't want people coming on the buses to have to be turned away, so they will know that there will be no elevator operating on that particular day. And we'll make sure they have everything that they need to get it done in the one day, and if it takes two, we'd put that out there, that it would be 2 days, so.
All right, so as soon as we know the day, you'll let me know and I'll do my
Yes,
thing.
absolutely.
You know what I'm
Mhm.
doing.
Yes. No.
So who, David, are you making a motion that we use the cheaper of the two companies?
I suggest we go with the chosen group.
Okay, so we have a motion for the chosen group, do we have a second on it? John S.
Do we need a motion for both of them?
Uh,
I mean, because we didn't do a motion on the,
well, there was,
There was nothing
I-
voted on for the elevator.
well, true, there was nothing to vote on the
they're both
elevator.
within budget.
Right,
It's just a matter
well,
of.
one, yes, one is within budget and the other one was over. So,
No, they're both under.
They're both under.
but we only had 20,000.
We have 20,000 for the elevator, both bids are on, no, I'm sorry, one bid is under, one bid is over. For the partitions, we have 16,300, but both bids came in under.
Right.
Chosen group was just less than Dos Santos.
It's just confusing.
Yeah.
Why would you need a motion for one and not the other? The bids committee is passing on
That-
one.
If Dominic, if you say go, we'll go. You,
I
sure?
believe we should go.
Okay, you got it.
With the lowest?
With the lowest
Okay.
bid.
Right, so last meeting I was asked to talk to legal about a release and hold harmless for anybody that was using any of our sports areas. So Laura has already penned that, and we're looking at how we are going to put that into effect, because while we're doing it in specialized areas where specialized equipment is being used, we give out an actual little card, but we're dealing with very few people. The gym, we're dealing with thousands, and for people playing all the sporting areas, we'll be dealing with high numbers as well. So for the gym, we give out a little hologram once they've filled out the release and hold harmless. We would do the same for the sporting areas, but for those using the sporting areas, it doesn't mean that they would use the gym. You know, people who use the gym may not have the stamina to actually play a sport, that's why they're at the gym. And then there are those who are playing the sports to get their exercise but wouldn't use the gym. That means we need a different shaped decal. That's what it's going to come down to. So we're using round in the gym. The thought is to do maybe triangular or square for the sporting areas. Currently, our source, we are paying, it costs us 45 cents per decal. All right, so for a roll of 1,000, we're paying $450. So this is something that we're looking to put into effect by July 1st. And if we run into, again, we don't get the decals soon enough, then we would put it into effect starting August 1st. Les?
I would propose that if we're concerned about suits, that anybody entering any WPRF vicinity have to sign off one way or the other. Walkways could be dangerous, steps could be dangerous, anywhere in
getting out of bed too.
Poles could be dangerous.
This is a different scenario, Les. This is a different scenario. As I was reading this, don't we have on-duty personal trainers?
We have one that rents space from us and that people can make appointments with. He's an independent contractor, and people sign up.
I'm reading what it says. I further acknowledge that Century Village does not provide or does not have available any on-duty personal trainers. So that would have to go. I mean,
It's not a WPRF employee, but I will have that conversation with Laura just to make sure that.
Because it says does not have and does not provide.
Mhm.
So a personal, if the guy's in there as an independent contractor
Mhm.
and we're letting them work there, we're providing him space.
Yes, we're providing him space.
And that might be a problem with this legal, if you see it right.
Yes, but he does carry insurance.
I understand that.
Okay. No, I agree with you. It's a good point, and I will take it up with Laura.
Les, the reason for having this done is because people that should not in any way, shape, or form be out on the tennis court or handball court or pickleball court are going out and playing and falling down and getting hurt, and they're suing. Okay? Now, this says that you're in perfectly good health, and if you come out with a crutch to go play handball and you fall down, it's not our fault. Okay? And I know it sounds redundant, and yes, you could fall getting out of bed, so we all want to stay in bed all day, but this is for using the physical activities that WPRF provides. Okay?
I see the same problem with swimming pools, though, maybe much more so.
Well, the alternative is we get rid of a lot of stuff, and we try not to do that, but we also have to protect ourselves. You know?
But what about bocce ball? What about shuffleboard? What about these other activities? That something could happen in some...
Well, that's what this is covering.
It's everything. It's
all everything.
Sports related.
Any sports related, you're going to have to sign if you want to play. And if you don't want to sign, you don't play.
And we're going to have to put hooks on the fences where the players are going to have to hang their ID cards so that security can just look at them on the fence and make sure that everybody has their decal, okay? Because we don't want them to go on the tennis courts or interrupt bocce or whatever they're doing to do this. So we're trying to avoid the disruption. So that's what we're thinking we're going to handle it by, and it'll be something. It can be a clip, or we can, provide you with those clips where you can hang it yourself. But I think we need to provide it. I don't want anyone to use it as an excuse that they have no way to hang it. Olga.
Does this mean that if WPRF creates a hazard and somebody gets hurt, that they cannot sue?
They can always sue.
Well, they can always sue.
They can always sue. But if we're maintaining the tennis courts and they're in good shape and there's no physical reason for a person to fall other than he steps on his shoelace and falls down,
right,
he can't sue WPRF.
Something that Fausto said, you hit the nail on the head without seeing the footage. So we had it was a female resident, and she invited her brother was visiting, and she's obviously maybe she's the player, the pickleball player, and so she suggested to her brother, let's go. People think that pickleball is so much easier because it's a much smaller court. You don't really have to run around. And to see this man, the way he walked, he was almost like a weeble. If everyone knows what a weeble is, they're wide at the bottom and rounded, right? So weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. Well, this man did. He took 2 steps, missed the ball, and just slammed into the fence. He should never have been out there. You could look at him and know that he was not athletic in any way, shape, or form, wasn't currently playing anything, and yet he stepped out there and he fell. There's no resulting lawsuit. He was probably embarrassed. I always see everybody look around to see who saw them fall because they're embarrassed. But, they need to think twice because there is always that chance that something could happen and you could become injured. So, but I would like to say, Monica, would you like to share the very good news that we had from Carol of,
Yes. A woman by the name of Carol Donnelly.
Into the phone, into the mic, please, Monica.
A woman by the name of Carol Donnelly is a risk assessment specialist, and she is employed by Philadelphia Insurance, which is our general liability carrier. And this woman visits all of our properties, usually once a year, and she came to all the Century Villages recently, and West Palm was the only village that got a letter without a single recommendation on it. So kudos to, you know, the maintenance staff.
The team we have.
Yeah, for taking care of everything. Because it's the only village with no recommendations. So.
Oh, dings.
well, you know, trips and falls are my number one. So I'm constantly looking, they're constantly looking, and obviously what we're doing, it's working, because, I mean, has that ever happened before, that she had no recommendation?
I don't think so. I
So,
think it is a first. She
this
always
is-
comes up
yeah.
with something.
Yeah, so this is me bragging, so yeah.
The other thing also, Les, insurance are looking for a reason to raise your rates. When we were told no more than a couple of months ago, potential of 100 to 200% increase in rates, insurance rates, which affects all of us. Not everybody uses the facility, but if we had 100% increase in your insurance premium, I guarantee you that some of the amenities would go away. And we're trying to prevent that, and I think by doing this, this is a proactive move that if somebody gets hurt, you could show this to the insurance company and say, listen, we're taking a positive action. We're trying to keep only people in good health playing. And I think that would go a lot further than having nothing.
And that, yes, and that's true. And so, and I know that you're recommending that we do it for anybody who walks on rec property. So you come in, you want to use the library, you're looking at a book, you want to take a book off the top shelf, you're a diabetic, you drop the book on the top of your foot, you get a gash, doesn't want to heal, and you've got all these medical expenses resulting. I'm afraid that that might be a little too heavy-handed. I want to see how things go with this new change that's coming in when it comes to lawsuits that assigns responsibility, points for responsibility, because people make decisions to do something when clearly we have it marked that they shouldn't, and then they turn around and sue. So we'll have to see. I think that's certainly a conversation we could have later down the road, seeing how it goes. Right now, we just have a lot of lawsuits.
You can't stop lawsuits because anybody would sue at any time. I've
Correct.
seen people fall on the dance floor, so wherever you go, people are falling. They're rolled, they might just have a heart attack out of nowhere, and fall down or get dizzy for whatever. You can't stop all the accidents from happening.
You can't.
Less than suits.
Yeah, I had two women who fell within a month of each other on the dance floor. They both broke a wrist. One didn't sue, the other one didn't. It's also just a mindset. You know, some people, if I trip over something that's obvious, you know, I'm responsible for where I put my feet. So I'm going to say, you idiot, you should have been more careful. You know better. You should be looking. Other people right away. You know, it's a way to get money, and that's what it is. So you're either one kind or the other. So what can I say? Yes, Olga.
Is it possible that in the future we could put in our contract that if anybody gets hurt and falls, the only thing they would get would be their medical expenses and nothing over and above? In other words, if somebody gets hurt, we're responsible for the medical expenses, and if they have insurance, of course, their insurance would supersede that. Is that possible?
Olga, just so you know, on our insurance policy, we do not have what is called med pay on our policy. It was removed from all of our policies many, many years ago, because if the word gets out that every time somebody falls, all you have to do is make a med pay claim and everybody's getting a check for $10,000 just for us falling down, what happens is an avalanche of claims. So we removed MedPay from our policy probably 15 years ago.
Yeah,
But that's
you,
not to say that if someone is hurt and that's all they're looking for is for their medical bills to be paid, we certainly have the ability to communicate that to our carrier, and they can take that under advisement as to how they want to settle the claim.
this was discussed by the insurance carrier when we did the insurance meeting. Because this came up and they said this is really the best way to go, case by case rather than a blanket cover.
Yeah.
Eva, on this thing here, like I said, I would question the middle of that middle sentence, and in the back, I think we would have a witness and eliminate the need of a public notary. That would be my suggestion. And thank you for working on it.
Absolutely.
I think it might stop some people to go out and do something stupid.
I really think some people they really don't give it the thought that they could get seriously hurt. So what can I say? Yes.
We get a lot of guests and a lot of snowbirds.
Mm-hmm.
Different populations. Are we going to ask the guests to also
Yes.
sign that?
Absolutely.
They're also going to have to sign. Yes, yes. Just like if you want to go fishing and you as the resident have one of my fishing licenses, you're supposed to bring your guest for a guest fishing license because we want to know who these people are too. You know, so this way we at least have some information on them. And then the resident is supposed to accompany the guest, right? But you've got grandma and grandkids come and they're bored and they don't want to go to the pool, so she's got fishing poles, and so she says go, she stays home, they go. And then we've got kids along the pool's edge, the lake's edge where we might have some, you know, alligators, snakes. Iguanas, they're going to turn and run. I think they're just more fascinating to watch for the kids anyway. But yeah, listen, anything can happen again. You know, an accident is something that wasn't meant to happen. So. Richard.
What paper is Fausto reading from?
I had
don't know.
provided, I didn't hand it out to everybody, but
If you want to read it, I'll let you read it.
Yeah, I mean, no
I
one
can-
on the committee has this.
Well, we discussed this last month. You weren't here.
right.
Last night?
Last month.
Oh, okay.
Do you want it read out loud?
Because I can send it to everybody after the meeting if you so desire. I always think about saving trees, I'm sorry. I can send it to you, Richard.
Send it to anyone, everyone, email it, it's fine.
I'll do that.
Let's kill some more trees. Anything else? Bobby, did you want to bring up your situation?
I spoke to Eva about it.
Okay.
Listen, I think that I'm going to be, and I've already planned this, to sit down with the new supervisor, Lawrence Hall, who was Steve's right arm, because I see the way they write their reports, or I hear from other residents as well, that though they go, there are some that absolutely avoid any confrontation. Well, then you can't wear the uniform and you can't work for us because your job is all about confrontation. So this was a little different. She really wasn't paying attention, shows up in the wrong place, even though you gave very specific information. So
what happened? What's this?
you know, it was a red truck with 4 young people in it that showed up to go fishing, and Bobby caught that. So then they get out. I think they were behind Bobby's building, so Bobby called security and asked for the rover to come out and check it out. They didn't last very long, so obviously the fish were not biting in that particular area. And when the security rover came, she went to the pool area. And Bobby lives in Somerset, so you know, she's steps away from the pool. They automatically assume the problem happens at the pool because there's a lot of problems at that pool. But the fact is that Bobby gave very specific information, and then they did not show up at the building, and they missed the guys. And chances are they went riding and trying to find different areas where they could fish to see where the fish were biting. But who are they? Who do they belong to? Are they supposed to be in the village? So all good questions, you did the right thing. But the guard was lax and then wasn't even paying attention to the information she was given. And so she lost time and they went on to somewhere else.
Anybody have any questions?
I have a question
Sure.
for Abby.
Yes.
The movie on Sunday.
Horrible.
Can you make sure you never have it again?
We actually pulled it for the other Century Villages.
What happened was,
I don't
there
remember.
were women who wanted to get out of the theater, but it was dark, and they had to sit through that whole movie and learn what an F word that gets overused,
No, I told Linda Graff not to go to that movie. I told her to tell Kathleen not to go to that movie.
Well, as I've told you before, and some of you may or may not have been here, the problem is they're complaining about the movies constantly. These are movies that were made during COVID, because that's how long sometimes it takes for us to get them. All movies currently are being made for 18 to 30-year-olds, because that is the only demographic that is paying $12 and $15 or whatever they're charging. So we're having a very, very rough time getting any kind of movies. We may start replaying some movies. We're gonna try an oldie but oldie but goodie. We're gonna try a foreign. We actually have a foreign one coming out. We're gonna try some new things just to fill the places. But I can't create what doesn't exist.
Bring back the cartoons.
Abby, there's two great ones too that I recommend. The Fablemans and She Said. Those are excellent movies.
Right, but we just played them.
No, they're two. No, they're coming.
Oh, they're coming.
Those are
I
coming.
can't keep track of them, I'm sorry.
I'm just invoking.
We're booking August right now, or September, so.
I'm recommending.
We're trying to, we don't want to censor movies to a certain extent, but you know, there's people that say, you know, Batman is for children, but there's people that love Batman, you know, the Avengers. So it's a really hard thing, and we try not to censor them, but when we do get a report, and you are Pembroke and Boca, because of your comments, will not see this movie. But you are the recipient of Pembroke and Boca's comments.
We're the guinea pigs.
No, meaning if Boca has a movie first, and they don't like it, I pull it from you. So we're always watching out for you. So it is advantageous that you're connected, the three of you, you know, so you get the benefit of if there's a bad show and it plays first in Boca, we pull it for you, you know, in Pembroke. So sometimes you're the recipient, sometimes you're the guinea pig.
Play Ticket to Paradise again. The one movie I went to, the projector.
The projector broke.
Yeah, we didn't get to see it because something happened to
Ticket to Paradise,
Yeah.
okay, I'm on it.
That was George Clooney.
So many people come in and like,
I'm on it.
abundance.
I'm on it.
And I was there and I wanted to
I'm
see
on
it
it.
also.
Ticket to Paradise.
Thank
Can I
you.
go?
Cartoons.
Thank you.
Well, we will not, Abby does not bring slasher movies or any of those real intense, those kinds of movies. You don't see those here. But again, we do have a wide viewing audience with a wide variety of tastes. So Abby does have to pick some things. Like, I wouldn't go see an Avenger movie
I
or
wouldn't go
or-
see Star Wars.
Well, that I'd see, but I wouldn't come see Spider-Man, okay? But there are people out there that love that stuff, so.
Anything else?
Just go to Lake Worth.
Let's, since we have nothing else, let's entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Richard, it's good to see you. Welcome back. You've been missed.
Thank you, thank you.
Got radio.
Yes, hi.
Yes.
Really?